Tassels have a universal appeal, whether it's religious, spiritual, or just ornamental. No matter what meaning they have for you, you're sure to love making the token tassel bracelet. You can try making one in your favorite metallic, whether it's this gold, a silver, copper, bronze, you name it. Also, play with color and just have fun. If this looks familiar, I'm guessing you've seen my tutorial on the simplicity stitch. I hope you enjoyed the modification I've made to it for this tutorial. And don't let the fact that this is a bangle intimidate you, because I'll have full instructions on how to size a bangle bracelet here in this video. But first, let's look at the supplies. Miniduos and size 11 seed beads. Those are the only 2 beads you need to complete the entire project. Although the silver one and the colorful one on the end I did with super duos. But I do prefer working with the mini duos, and that's what I'll be using in today's tutorial. I highly recommend using a size 12 beading needle and Fireline for its extra thinness. You can use a 4-pound or 6-pound. To determine the size of my bangle, so I went ahead and cut out a piece of paper from cardstock and grabbed a piece of washi tape. So I'm just going to turn my tape over here and attach it to the end of my paper. Wrap this around my hand for a bangle. So you just want to line up your papers, pulling them together. I'm going to tape it down. Just slipping this over my wrist. I want to make sure that it goes over my hand okay. Seems like a pretty good fit. I'm going to hang on to this, and I know this is a good length. I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and cut it right here at the seam. Get rid of my excess, and now I know this is going to be my bangle length. First, pick up 1 mini duo and 3 size 11 seed beads. I'm going to take all of these and bring them down near the end of my thread. You're going to want to needle back through your mini duo right there, pulling your thread so the 3 beads sit underneath. Go ahead and pick up 3 more of your size 11 seed beads, needle back through your mini duo and the size 11 above it. I'm going to pull my thread through. Now I'm going to needle into this middle bead that sits above the mini duo. This is our step up. Now we're going to begin a repetitive pattern of 1 11, 1 mini duo, and 3 more size 11 seed beads. You need to bring these on down near the beads on your thread so they're sitting side by side. Needle back through the mini duo. Pick up 1 more size 11, and you're going to needle into this middle size 11 that you did the step up in. You want to make sure you're needling into the side opposite that your thread is coming out of. So I'm going to go ahead and needle through there. Then I will take this and turn it in my hand so my thread is coming out the right hand side, and needle up through the 11, mini duo and 11, and then step up into this middle size 11 above the mini duo. Again, pick up an 11, a mini duo, and 3 11s. Slide those down your thread next to your work and needle back through the mini duo. I'm going to go ahead and pick up one more 11 and needle into this middle size 11 that sits above the mini duo, and make sure I'm needling in the side opposite that my tail and thread was coming out of. Now I'll take this, turn it in my hand again, needle up the side through the 11, mini duo and 11, and then again through this middle bead. We'll step up, repeat the pattern of an 11 mini duo and 3 11s, bring it down next to your work, needle back through the mini duo, pick up one more size 11, needle through the middle size 11, making sure that you are entering in opposite of where your tail was coming out of. Again, I'll rotate this in my hand so my thread and needle are here on the right, and come up through the 11 mini duo and 11 on the side, and then step up through this middle 11. So I'm going to continue working on this, repeating this pattern. I continued working on my row of beads here, and I feel like I'm almost to the length I need, so I'll go ahead and get out my Bangle sizing guide and sit this on top of it. I just want to make sure that I have it down here at one end, and then I'll see where it's at the other end. And I don't want it to be all the way to the other end. I want it to be almost there, and we're almost there. When we're almost there, we know that we just need to add one more of our duos, and this way we'll be turning it into the bangle, so this step's a little different. To attach our last mini duo and turn it into a bangle, make sure that your strip of beads is laying flat, and bring the two ends together. At this point, it's just important that you don't get the row of beads twisted. Make sure that it forms a smooth circle. We're exiting the size 11 here, and we're going to pick up one 11, one mini duo, and one more 11. With these 3 beads on our needle, since we're coming out the right side of this one here, we're going to needle into the same side of the 11 here on the end of our other side. Pick up one more size 11 and needle back into the mini duo. Pick up one more size 11 and needle into this middle 11 sitting on top of this mini duo. You just want to make sure you're needling in the opposite side that this thread is coming out of. So I can tell I need to turn it here. Make sure it's still forming a nice smooth loop. Needle into the opposite side of the 11 here that your thread was coming out of. And now we have this turned into our bangle. I'm just going to needle back into the 11, one more mini duo, and one more 11, just so my thread is pulled away from our connection point. Now I'm just going to make one more of these and we'll put them together. I completed my second strip of beads and turned it into the bangle just like the first. So I'm just going to move one out of the way for now. Setting it aside, I'm going to pick up one of these strips and we're going to work with our mini duos. We're exiting an 11 and we're going to put one mini duo in the gap between two 11s along the edge. Doing that all the way around. So you'll come through the 11, the mini duo, and the next 11, and then pull your mini duo into place. You do want to make sure that you don't have any thread showing. You don't want it to be loose. You want to make sure it's pulled in there nice and tight. Repeat that process of adding one of your mini duos, coming through an 11, mini duo and 11, all the way around. Again, pulling tight so no thread is showing. And you'll do that all the way around on one of these strips of beads. I'm going to be adding my last mini duo here along the edge, coming through the next 11. And then I also want to come through the mini duo above it. And we're going to move our working thread to the outer side. So I'm going to come through one more of the 11s, through one of the size 11s here in the middle, and then I'm going to come through one 11 on the edge, through the mini duo and the next 11. My thread will be exiting one of the 11s here where there's a gap between the two 11s on the edge. Now we're going to need our other strip of beads that we had worked on. To zip the two strips together, exiting this 11 here, go ahead and needle into your mini duo on the other side, pulling it into that space. You'll needle into the next 11, mini duo and 11. Just made it through the two. I'll have to come up through this next 11 above my mini duo. And make sure you're pulling your thread firm. You're not seeing any thread pass around the center mini duo. You're just going to continue zipping up these two strips together in the same way all the way around. It's so fun seeing the two strips come together in this fashion. This is definitely one of my favorite steps of this pattern. So let's continue working and get all the way around your bracelet. I'm just needling into the last mini duo that I need to zip up into the other side. Now I want to end this thread. So I'll just come up through the mini duo, an 11, a mini duo, and put a half hitch knot in here. And then just pull my thread through another bead or two. And then I'm going to trim it off. As you can tell, you have one of your tails here in the middle of the bracelet, and you're going to use that to finish the outside edge. So go ahead and move it to the outside. Just needle through an 11 a super duo, and an 11. I'm going to come through this middle 11 towards the outside edge. And then to be ready for continuing on the outside, needle through the 11, super duo, and the 11 above it, almost there. So now that you've moved your thread to the outside, we're ready to finish the edge. To finish the edge, I'm going to pick up one size 11 and come through this next set of an 11 mini duo and an 11. So that's all there is to the edge, adding a size 11 here in this little gap that's formed between the two 11s. I'm adding my last size 11 along the edge. Then I just want to retrace my thread path a little bit to secure the end of the thread and finish with a half hitch knot. With this edge completely finished, I just need to repeat the process on the other side. We could be finished with our bracelet right here. Just slip it on our wrist and call it a day. Although this pattern really lends itself well to adding charms because you have all the middle openings. So that's what we're going to do. To work on our cute little mini tassel using the mini duos, I'm going to begin with a good 5 feet of thread on my needle. I'll pick up one stop bead and bring it down near the end of my tail, leaving just a few inches, and needle back through that bead. Again, we're just going to use this as a stop bead. We're going to pick up 4 of the mini duos at one time on our needle and let those come down and sit next to the stop bead. Now we're going to work on the next row for this using 2 mini duos, and with the first one and into the next one. You should have 2 of your mini duos at the end now, sitting side by side, picking up one more mini duo to complete this row, needle into the very bottom mini duo, the one that's next to your stop bead. We're going to make another row with 2 of our mini duos, picking up one, coming into the next bead, picking up one, and coming into the next bead. We're going to do another row, picking up one, coming into the next bead, picking up one, and coming into the bead on the end, pulling everything tight. And we're on our last row, picking up one, coming into the next bead, picking up one, and coming through the bead on the end. At this point, we'll be ready to zip up this little unit into the top cylinder of our tassel. So coming out of this mini duo here, needle into the one on the left, just beside it, and then needle into the empty hole on the row to the right. Now we're going to needle into the empty hole on the row to the left. Then we're going to needle into the empty hole on the row to the right. So you're just basically zipping it up like you would with a peyote stitch. At this point, I can move my stop bead out of the way and needle into the hole that has the tail coming out of it and go all the way up that row to the top. I'm going to needle up and down these rows to help secure the shape. So we're coming out here at the end. We're just going to needle all the way through the beads of the next row. Again, I'll needle through all the mini duos in the next row. This really helps tighten it up, keeping its shape. And I'll come down and do the same, repeating it all the way around. And you'll feel when it's nice and secure. So we're just needling up and down the rows. And securing the shape. At this point, I'm going to completely remove my stop bead, and we'll start adding our little tassels. I've noticed that both my tail and working thread are coming out the same end, and I really want my working tail to be coming out the other side of this piece. So I'm going to needle back through another row so my working end and my tail are now opposite. Turning this around in my hand, I'm just going to needle through the center and come out the other end. Picking up one of my size 11 seed beads, I'm going to drop it down here next to my work and just needle back through the empty hole here in the center. Now I'm going to add my first tassel. Picking up 8 seed beads, I'm going to bring those down here near the center. Pick up one more seed bead and needle back through the 8 here that we just added and all the way back up to the top. Now we have one in the middle. I'm going to go through the size 11 up here on the top. Now I want to needle down one of my rows of mini duos. So I'm exiting one of the mini duos down here. Picking up 8 seed beads and dropping them next to my work. I'm going to pick up one more seed bead, having it on my needle, needle back through all 8 of the seed beads I just added. And then this one on the bottom will hold these in place, and then come back through your mini duo. Let the thread lay on top of this mini duo. Needle into the other side of it. I'm going to be adding the little tassel fringe coming out of each mini duo here. So again, I have 8 seed beads on my needle. I'll drop them next to my work, picking up one more, and then I'll needle directly back into the 8 that I just added, and up through the mini duo above it. And there's another fringe. I'm going to come now into the next mini duo and repeat that all the way around. I went around and added the tassel coming out of both sides of each mini duo. And on my very last one here, I want to needle back up this row to the top. Careful not to get any of your tassels caught in your loop. And we're going to come all the way up to the top. What did I say? There we go. You want to needle back down the next row. Might have to just do a few beads at a time. So now that I've come down this next row, there's this sort of gap between the tassels right underneath your super duo or mini duo. This is where I'm going to add another tassel going all the way around one more time. So again, I have the 8 seed beads on my needle, picking up one more for the end, bringing these next to my work. I'm going to skip the end bead, needle back through the 8, pulling this up, and now we're coming out of this hole of the mini duo. I want to needle into the other hole, the same mini duo, and travel back up to the top. Kind of slowly, I don't want to get anything caught. So again, I'm going to work up to the top. So coming down the next row of mini duos, I'm going to again put a tassel right here underneath the center of this mini duo, and I'm going to repeat that all the way around. I finished adding a tassel underneath the middle of each of my super duos, and you can see how full this little tassel turns out. It just has a really good weight right in your hand. Now that I'm up here at the top, I'm just going to needle through this center size 11. Now that I'm to this point and finished with my tail, I'm just going to trim it off. Just need 2 of these for this bracelet. Let's attach our tassels to our bracelet. I'm going to add 15 size 11 seed beads onto the end of my tassel, and then needle through one of the openings in the bracelet. Go ahead and pull that through. I don't want my tassel to hang down too far, so that's how I came up with this number. If you want your tassel to dangle more, add some more seed beads, or if you want it less, not as many. So now I'm going to pick up my other tassel and needle through this 11 here at the top. I'm going to retrace this thread path, skipping the 11 at the top. I'll go back through all my beads again. I'll do it with this working thread that I have right now, and then I'll reinforce it with the other thread from the other tassel. I reinforce my thread path a few times with my working thread. I'm going to needle through this middle size 11, and then bring my thread down into the tassel itself. hitch knot or two to make sure it's nice and secure to the base. And then again, I'm going to do that with the other thread from the other tassel. As always, I hope you have a beautiful day and enjoy all your beading projects.